on now. I'll give you guys a few minutes to check in. So you can see my countertop. So what I was saying was I typically make my own brown sugar, and I needed some right away. I didn't have any molasses, so I just went out and bought some dark brown sugar. Well, for this recipe, it calls for a cup and a half of brown sugar firmly packed, and I didn't have a cup and a half, but I had dark brown sugar, so I just added regular sugar to it, made it a light brown sugar because it didn't say if it needed to be dark or light, so I had enough to do light brown sugar. So that's that. Now what I've done is this calls for 24 cups of peeled and sliced zucchini. I like my apples, my pie filling diced. I don't like the long slices because sometimes I'll put it in pastries or, you know, make like mini tarts or something like that. So I did diced. So I peeled in cord or whatever you want to call it. I think there's probably 2 large, maybe 2.5 large zucchini. And a shout out to my brother and his wife, AJ and Rhonda. They gave me zucchini. They've been letting them grow in their garden for me. I did have a lot of leftovers, so I made little sticks. I'll show you the little sticks here. And tomorrow I'm taking them to daycare, and I'll tell you, I am going to get those kids to eat vegetables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bread these and air fry them. I'm not going to tell them what they are. I'm just going to tell them they have to figure it out, and then we can name them. And I'm hoping that they'll like them. I'll tell them you can dip them in ketchup or you can dip them in ranch, but they're so good. They're nice and crispy on the outside, and you would never know what they are on the inside. They don't have a flavor. Now zucchini, I did save one zucchini up to show you how I do this. So I'm going to tip my laptop down just to show you the easy way to prepare this for these apples. So I peeled them just with a regular peeler, easy peasy, cut the ends off, and then I slice them in thirds depending on how big they are. I just want, you know, sizes like this, easy to work with. And then I cut these in half down the middle. Now the best way to hollow these out is one of these ice cream scoops. So you definitely want to get one of these if you don't have one, if you're going to be doing something like this. But ooh, it peels out the insides really easy. This one is an end piece, so I have to kind of go under. I don't know if you can see this. Move everything aside. But this just gets those insides out so easy. I wouldn't use a spoon. That's tough to use a spoon. I think it's too hard. The scoop is solid. It's more solid, so you can really dig at it. These are the little end pieces. I don't know if my daughter Brittany is still on, but I work at her daycare, and that's the daycare that I'm going to try to get these kids to eat some veggies. I've been trying all different kinds, and they just don't like them. Some do. There's one little boy that'll eat anything for vegetables. Little Isaac, he loves veggies. So I will say that I have done corn on the cob, and a majority of them did like the corn on the cob. And then you just get rid of all of this. If I had my chickens, I would be able to give them all that goodness. So now, if you wanted to do sliced, like the sliced apples that you see at, that you typically make apple pies with, just cut them so they're about like this. And then you just slice them up thin, like so. And there's your apple slice. But like I said, I like mine diced. So I'm just gonna set this stuff aside. I will actually put it on the cutting board and move it over to the counter. And I will deal with this later. Whoop, let's move it over here. Get rid of this stuff. And we need So I had to go find, my lid, not my lids, but my rings for my canning jars, because I'm running out. And thankfully, I had posted a while ago that I was out of canning jar lids, canning jars, and some lady gave me a ton. I mean, I get tons of canning jars given to me all the time, all the time. If you're always low on canning jars, post it on your personal first Facebook page. You'd be surprised how many people just have them stacked up in their garage or in their basement that don't need them. So anyways, I have 24 cups of zucchini here, and then it calls for 2 cups of lemon juice, which really surprises me. I don't know if I like the 2 cups. I did this with my pineapple zucchini pineapple, and I thought that the lemon was too much, but it was, I don't think it was this much. But we're gonna do it. We'll do 2 cups. So yes, I do also do pineapple zucchini pineapple, but I add a twist to it. I add onions and peppers and a thickener and soy sauce to it to make it into a sweet and sour sauce, and I can that, and it's so good. Then it calls for 2 3/4 cup of sugar. And then it calls for 1.5 cups of brown sugar. Yes, this is a lot of sugar. That's okay. Apple pie filling is sweet. Apple juice. I'll be right back. Gotta go get it. Okay, so we need 1/2 cup of apple juice. Now, like I had told you before, zucchini takes on the flavor of whatever you're cooking it with. It's kind of weird like that. There's my apple juice. That's a 1/4 cup right there. So I am using clear gel right here. This is the canning starch. And I've used regular starch before canning, and I didn't like it. I felt like everything settled to the bottom. It didn't stay congealed or whatever you call it. So that's why they have this special powder to use for canning, the special starch. So I'm not even sure what it's made of, but I get mine from Amazon. This is 2.5 pounds, and I buy it in 5 pounds. So I get 2 of these, and it's like $35. So it calls for 1/4 cup. Yep, 1/4 cup. Get in there. And the difference with this is you mix your clear gel when it's cold, where starch, you would mix it when it was hot. You know, you'd mix the starch in water, then pour it in the hot gravy or broth or whatever you're making. But with clear gel, you don't. You mix it when it's cold. So I'm just dumping everything in. I don't know if I'm doing this right or not, but that's okay. So what am I getting now? Cream of tartar. So I need my teaspoons, my tablespoons. Everything is a mess in my baking drawer. I got flour all over everything. All right, so we need 4.5 teaspoons of cream of tartar. I don't use that often. There. I always thought you only use cream of tartar to make Play-Doh. Guess not. Okay, so here comes all the goodness right here. 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. It's tablespoons, right? Yep. You can never have too much cinnamon, right? Three-quarters of a teaspoon of nutmeg. So I got my half here. Nutmeg is super strong. And then my quarter. How many of you have a spoon that you should make Play-Doh for those with a cream of tartar? They have a ton of Play-Doh, Leela. They have tons, and we find it all over the place when they use it. So how many of you have a spoon, a measuring spoon that's 1/8 of a teaspoon? I have found recipes that call for 1/8 of a teaspoon. Why put something like that in there? I don't know. So that was my nutmeg. Clove, another 3/4 of clove. And I will put the recipe on my YouTube channel. I'll put it in the comments. And on this video, I'll put it in the comments. Yeah, I'll put it in the comments. Whoo, clove, that's strong. Allspice, same thing, 3/4. All the herbs, not herbs, but spices are 3/4. 3/4 of a teaspoon. Oh my gosh, it smells so good in here. And ginger. All the yummy things that go in apple pie. And you know, I'm going to taste this. And if I don't think it tastes like apple pie, I will add spices and mess around with it until I like it, until I think it tastes right. Who knows? Now, I'm not sure how long this is going to cook for. It never really said. I don't know. So I'm just going to, this is going to be hard to stir, but this is going to cook. It'll cook down a little bit, and the liquid, it'll have a liquid at the bottom. So it's kind of hard to stir right now, but as it cooks, this looks just like apples. This is crazy. It looks just like apples. I'm going to show you too. You guys see this? It looks just like apples. Isn't that neat? So I'm super excited. I can't imagine that it's going to have, oh, my spoon just cracked. I can't imagine that the texture is not going to be a weird texture. I think it's going to have that same texture as apples. So we're going to just put that on and get it cooking. And I'm going to pick up my spices here. Okay, so I can hear this bubbling back here. I'm going to give it a stir with a metal spoon because I'm afraid my wooden spoons would break. Oh yeah. It smells so good. So good. And it is, it's like softening up. And there's more liquid formed. Just scraping some of that powder stuff off the sides. So I don't think this is going to take long to cook at all. So I've done a couple garden tours in my YouTube channel, and I'm sad to say I did not have a garden this year. I planted a few things in a couple of my raised beds, but I just didn't have the time to do a garden, and I have weeds this tall in it. They're probably actually this tall. So I think what I'm going to do next year, my ex-husband is going to be making me some raised beds, hopefully. And I am going to just plant in raised beds. I'm not going to do the huge gardens that I've always done. Oh, that's awesome, Matt. He's already got a couple things on the list for the freeze dryer for the boys. That's awesome. Oh, on the list for the boys for toys, not for freeze drying. Oh, I see now. So I'm just going to do a small garden for myself. I'm not going to make it so big, and I'm going to take all of my, the grapes have taken over my blackberry patch. So I am going to dig up as many of the blackberry bushes as I can and make rows of blackberries. I've got raspberries already that are like spreading like mad. I'm going to dig them up and transplant them and make a few rows of those. I have some black raspberries, which a lot of people don't even know what they are. I have them at my old house, and I'm going to dig up about half of them and start making some black raspberry rows. And I'm also going to add to my blueberry bushes. So I've decided I'm just going to have a small garden for myself, and I am going to just do berries and herbs, lots of herbs. I have really taken off on my herbs. I was just telling, my sister-in-law came up, Leela, and had coffee with me this morning, and I was telling her I got stung by a wasp right on the chest. Oh my God, it stung so bad, and it hurt, and it wouldn't stop hurting. So I had made some I freeze-dried some plantain, which is so common that I have it all over my yard. I freeze-dried some, and then I put it in some olive oil to infuse. So I went and I grabbed some of that, and I put it on a Band-Aid and put it on my sting. Immediate relief, immediately. And I left it there for about 4 hours. I took that Band-Aid off. There was nothing. You couldn't even tell I got stung. No pain, nothing. Didn't even feel like I had anything there. There was no mark. It was crazy. So I've ordered some rollers, some little amber jars with rollers, and I'm going to be putting some of that oil in those jars, those little tubes, whatever they are, I don't know. And I will be offering those for sale. I'm also making more bug spray, more tick spray, an antiseptic spray that I need to try out first. I always like to try my stuff first to see how it works, and I don't want to sell people bogus stuff, but that's what I'm going to be doing, you know, with my herbs and stuff. And all of it I'm getting naturally outside. So this is thickening up really nicely. I don't know if you can see, but it's thickening up pretty nicely. Oh, you know what? I forgot to add vanilla. I forgot to add a tablespoon of vanilla to that. Where's my vanilla? There it is. And I don't measure. I measure with my heart. There, that's about a tablespoon. Can't forget the vanilla. And when this gets to cooking a little bit more, I'll bring it over and show you guys. This is probably going to be a long video, but hey, it's Sunday, it's raining. What better do you have to do than to watch me cook, right? My plan was to mow the lawn today, because I haven't mowed it in like 3 weeks, but that didn't happen. Today's my only day off that I've had for a long time, between working and cooking for my customers and catering. And I'm like, okay, cool. I will mow the lawn. I'll pick up outside. I'll, gather some herbs. That didn't happen. So, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that because I haven't done a video in a long time. And I haven't done a live in a really, really long time. And I really like doing lives. So this isn't giving me as much as I thought it would. I'm gonna get a little custard cup and see if I can find a piece that's almost done. They get a little bit more translucent. Get a little bit of the juice. So, I don't know if you can see that. Can you guys, I don't want to spill that. Oop, I spilt it. Oh gosh, and I don't want to touch, I don't want to touch the mouse. You know what, I'm just going to leave it there because if I touch the mouse, I'm going to do something bad. Actually, no, I won't. I'll put it right there. Ooh, that's good. Oh my goodness, that is so good. Let's just taste the zucchini. Now, these aren't done yet. Wow. You would never know that this is not an apple. You would never know. So my phone is about to die. I'm at 10%. Wow. That's really good. Okay, so Lemu's Orchard, if you see this part, just plug your ears. Zucchini is so much cheaper than apples. You can go to a farm, buy them big. Wow. And you saw how easy that was. And you don't have to can it. You can cut that recipe down and just make it for one pie. Or you can make up a bunch of pies and freeze them. But this, I'm about ready to pull this off because it's going to continue cooking. It's going to continue to cook in the jars while I'm canning it. I didn't even get my canner out. I need to go get a canner. I might get two. I'll probably get 2 canners. I'm not even sure if they're in the dining room or if they're down cellar. I'll peek in the dining room really quick first. But this will process for 20 minutes, and I'm going to show you something. I'll be right back. Well, I cannot find my water bath canners, so I'm going to have to use my pressure canners, which is okay. I don't know what I did with my water bath canners. This house is just so big, and I have so much stuff here. Between my nephews moving all of my stuff over here from my old house, and everything that my parents had. So I need to clean house. So I'm going to get this water going. I'm going to put hot water in here because my content is hot. And my, when my sister-in-law Leela was here earlier, we talked, was it Leela? Leela, was that you and I that talked about, no, it was AJ. AJ was here earlier, my brother. Had broken some jars, a canning jar when he was doing tomatoes, and I told him, I said, well, do you put hot stuff in cold jars, or, you know, what are you doing? Are you doing hot, 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 or cold, cold, cold? And he was putting cold stuff in hot water. So I said, that's your problem. I said, you got to go do hot, hot, hot. But then I was talking to him, I said, however, I do not get my jars hot anymore first, because why am I putting hot liquid into a cold jar, letting it set for a minute to get hot, and then adding hot stuff? Why don't I just put the hot stuff right from the beginning in it and let that sit until that jar acclimates and then put it in hot water? So that is what I do from now on. I do that all the time now. I don't soak my jars in hot water anymore to get them hot. I just don't put them in the hot water. I just fill them with the content, the hot content, and let them get hot for a little while. And the thing that I really like about zucchini is that, whoops, oh, that didn't sound good. I have a couple dishes in the sink. It really holds its shape. It doesn't get mushy like a lot of vegetables do or fruit does. It really holds its shape together pretty well. So, I don't know. I'm going to tip you down a little bit over here and show you what this looks like. Can you see that, or is it too steamy? This is the apple pie filling, and the juice is just this brown. And when I put it in the jar, you'll be able to tell a lot better. I honestly would want that thicker, because to me that's not really thick enough. It's kind of still soupy. So I might, I hate to add some more clear gel when it's hot, but I think I'm going to. I think what I'll do is I'm going to put a little bit of this liquid in here and mix the clear gel with it. Because you're supposed to put clear gel in cold, when everything is cold. But see, this is, if you can tell, this is too liquidy. And you don't want this much liquid in a pie. Or a pastry for that matter. So it called for 1/4 of a cup. I'm gonna add another 1/4 of a cup. This is 1/3. I'm just gonna go a little under 1/3. And I honestly don't know how this is gonna mix in here. I'm gonna do a full 1/3. I'm gonna do 1/3. So how do you measure 1/3 and a 1/4? What's that? 1/3 plus 1/4. Come on, Matt. You're the math whiz of the family. There, it is thickening up now. Good. Good, good, good. That's what I wanted. So I'm definitely going to alter that recipe and add more math whiz. That's Dalton. Yeah, Dalton is. I just break things. Dalton is pretty much a math whiz. When I was doing infinite math in college, I was calling Dalton to help me. Or he'd come over to the house. Or Brody. Brody's a math whiz too. Okay, this is much better. See? It's a lot thicker. Just the way I want it. Perfect. All right, we're going to start canning that up. Jarring that up. So this is what I wanted to tell you earlier. I'm reusing canning jars. I am low on lids. I have some large lids, and that's it. I don't have any regular canning jar lids, so I'm reusing canning jars. I do this all the time. So this is what another YouTuber has said, and she makes sense. What would happen if something happened in this world and we weren't able to get canning jars? Look at what happened during COVID. You could not find canning jars. You could not find lids. It was crazy. I mean, it was crazy, crazy, crazy. The canning world blew up during COVID. It literally blew up. People were canning. That's what actually made me start this Facebook group. A lady from out of state was scared, wanting to start canning. She was afraid she wouldn't be able to find food. It was during COVID, so I taught her how to can, and now she cans. I'm looking for my funnel. There it is. So what would happen if we couldn't find any lids or any canning supplies? I save my jars that have so they have to have this. Do you see this lip? I know right here, this lip, and then I'll get it close to the camera. You see, they have to have these lips here. Oops, whoops, whoops, this way. They have to have these lips so that they lock on the jar. If not, I think Alfredo sauce that we buy does not have that. Your jars will pop off during canning. So as long as they have that lip and they have a button on top. This one has a button. I've never had a problem canning in these jars. I typically do pickles in it, but I'm doing this because I don't have any regular size jars. Put that there. Find myself a ladle. The one thing about these funnels don't go in these smaller jars very well. Look at that. I'm going to give it a little bit of a head space, about an inch. That's not even an inch. I'm going to take some out of that one. I'm going to go get a different funnel. I think I've got a smaller funnel. This funnel might fit better. Well, I'll be jiggered. It does not. It's actually bigger. Well, we're going to wing it. We are going to wing it. I'm going to have to invest in some smaller funnels. How come I never noticed this before? If you guys could just smell this, it smells so good. And they are hot. Oh, I kind of overfilled that one. Ooh. So with this, you're really going to have to clean around those lids because it's very sticky. and you want them to seal good. I like doing small jars for pie fillings because it's just me and I don't make a big pie. I usually will do a Dutch baby pancake, and a small jar is all I really need. Or I'll do a couple puff pastries. Oh, I'm overfilling all of these. All right, let me rescue these jars a little bit. So I got my water on high over here. Okay, let's take some out of this one. I don't want them that full. That's good. Take a little bit out of this one. That's good. Come on, get out of there. Just a couple more pieces. There, all good. Oh, my counter's gonna be all sticky. These jars are a mess. They're a mess from not being able to set this right down in there. So this will make great apple crisp too. Maybe I'll put this on my menu for my customers. Oh, I overfilled that one too. All right, straighten up, Meredith. Yeah, I think I'll put an apple crisp on my menu this week. Let my customers know that it's zucchini. Leela, you're gonna have to buy one. Just so you can try it. I'm not going to have enough for another jar, but really it's kind of too much to just sit down and eat out of the, maybe not. So this is what I have left. I just might eat that. Just might eat that right out of the pan. All right, let the cleaning begin because these are bad. Oh, I can get more in that one. And some of these, as you can see, have more juice than the others, and that's okay because if I have to mix them, I will. I'm so glad that I added more of that clear gel, though. So glad. Wow. Wow. That is so good. Tastes just like an apple pie. So I'm going to clean these jars up with just water right now. And then I'll come back and clean up the lids with vinegar. So I got, these aren't really a quart. I'd say that these are a pint and a half. So that's 3 pints, 4 and a half, 5 and a half, 6 and a half, 7 and a half, 8 and a half, 9 and a half. So about 9 and a half pints. And if I would have had a smaller one like that, no. I don't know. Maybe if I would have broken up 2 of these into 3 pints. But whatever, I have some to snack on. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to clean up these jars before I do the vinegar. Wow, these are hot. These are hot because I got them pretty dirty. And as you know, you clean all your lids with vinegar and water, vinegar, because you want to get all the stickiness, or whoops, guess we didn't need that. That would have come off in the water. So these jars are getting hot on their own. I did not have to soak them. They're getting very hot. This one I got really messy. So if I don't get this jar clean, especially around the ring, around the lid up here, that's gonna leave areas for bacteria to form, and we do not want bacteria in our apple pie filling. There. All right, now I'm gonna get some vinegar. Now I just need to figure out which lids go to which. That's my ragu pizza sauce. Classico. This one, yeah. Ouch. Whew, those are hot. All right, so I'm gonna water bath can these. It was quarts for 25, pints for 20. I have in between sizes. I'm just gonna go for 25. You can always go over, just never go under. So I'm just gonna go over for all of them. And I'm using my pressure canner because I can't find my canners anywhere. I have no idea where they are. And my water is hot because my content and my jars are hot. Now I will tell you, with these jars that I have here that I reuse, ouch, you don't, ouch, oh, ow. You don't hear them pop like you would regular canning jars. That was hot, by the way. Could you tell? Holy smokes. So I just need to put a little bit more water in there and bring it up. I like to go a little bit over my covers, probably about an inch maybe. There. All right. So then I'll process these. That will come to a boil. When it comes to a boil, well, let me put my lid on. I'm not screwing that tight. I'm just resting it down. After that comes to a boil, I'll start my timer for 25 minutes and then I will turn it off, let it set for a little bit. When it comes to a boil, I am going to turn it down because I don't want any seeping. The biggest cause of seeping is your water is so hot and it's bubbling so hard. So I will turn it down a little bit, but make it remain boiling. I'll make sure that it continues to boil. That way I don't get as much seepage. You get more seepage with pressure canning, but it does happen with water bath canning. Geez, I get that stuff all over me. So I'm going to sign off for now. Most of you that have followed me know how to do the canning process, especially water bath canning. Like I said, 25 minutes after it comes to a boil. And then I will let it set for about 10 and then take them out. I'll put them on a cloth on the counter, never directly on the counter because your jars could break. You want a cloth down. And then that's it. Let them set overnight, and I'll put them in the pantry tomorrow. I'm going to go eat the rest of that apple pie filling. It was so good. So, guys, thank you for joining me. Matt, thanks for watching, honey. It's good to talk to you. I love you, hon. And I will see you guys. I'll try to get back on more often to do lives. And I want to thank you all on YouTube for watching my video. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel, share my videos, and like my videos. I really appreciate you all here at None Such Farm. Thank you. Bye-bye.